right, so here's the study guide. Number 1, where does the graph of y equals negative 3x minus 18 intersect the x-axis? Put the equation in standard form first. When you think of x or y intercepts, you should immediately think of standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. So we need to take this equation, y equals negative 3x minus 18, and I need to put the variable on the other side, the negative 3x. So if this is a negative 3x, I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Those cancel. I'm left with 3x plus y equals negative 18. All right, now they want us to find the x-intercept. So the x-intercept, 3x equals negative 18. I divide both sides by 3. X equals negative 6. Now on the test, I'm going to say write that as an ordered pair. So that's an x, so it's negative 6 comma 0. That's my final answer. All right, tickets to see a movie cost $5 for children and $8 for adults. The equation 5x plus 8y equals 80 represents number of children. So x is number of children and adults is y, who can see the movie with $80. If no adults, okay, no adults see the movie, adults are y. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of this y variable. How many children can see the movie? I'm getting rid of that because I'm saying that no adults went. So I'm placing 0 adults in there. 8 times 0 is just 0. So I'm left with 5x equals 80, and I divide both sides by 5, giving me, I think it's 16. Let's look. It's my phone. 80 divided by 5. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so x equals 16. So 16 and children. All right, next one. Find the x and y intercepts of 3x minus 4y equals negative 12. Immediately, you think x and y intercepts, you think standard form, ax plus by equals c, and sure enough, it's in it. So I can go ahead and break this up into 3x equals negative 12 and negative 4y equals negative 12. I divide both sides by 3. X equals negative 4. That point is negative 4, 0. Over here, I divide both sides by negative 4, giving me y equals a positive 3. That point is 0, 3. The line passing through, I think it was talking about the slope. So find the slope of the line passing through these points. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is x1, this is y1. This is the second x, this is the second y. So now I plug in 4 minus 7 over negative 1 minus 3. 4 minus 7 is a negative 3, and negative 1 minus 3 is a negative 4. 2 negatives is a positive, therefore my slope is 3/4. All right, here's another one. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is my first x, my first y, my second x, my second y. So I've got 2 minus 2 over 6 minus a negative 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. That becomes a plus. 6 plus 3 is 9. 0 over 9 is equal to 0. So my slope is 0. If you forget, please put that in your calculator. If you put in your calculator 0 divided by 9, it'll tell you 0. Versus if you put 9 over 0, it's going to say error. And if you see error, you know that means undefined. 2 completely different things. So make sure you're careful. All right, a vertical line. You immediately should think of slope dude. All right, so here's his eyebrows. Here's his nose. And here's his mouth. So a vertical line is up and down Therefore, I'm looking at his nose. And this part of his nose is to tell us that that slope is undefined. An undefined slope. Do not tell me no slope. That doesn't make sense. It's an undefined slope. Same thing with a horizontal line. Drawing slope dude again. Let's do a different color. Okay, so a horizontal line is side to side. So I'm looking at his mouth, and these O's on the side are to remind me that they have a slope of 0. Which graph has a slope of -3? If I look at slope dude, and remember my story about going up the gondola ride, going up the mountain, it was so beautiful, I was so positive, and then going down, I was falling and falling and falling, and I became super negative. So from the get-go, I know it's a -3. So I can already go down to a 50-50. So this is going up the mountain, so that's wrong. This is going up the mountain, that's wrong. So it's really just between H and J. Here's a point, and here's a point. Here's a point, here's a point. So slope, going from a graph, is rise over run. So I rise 1, or actually let me do it on the other side. I rise 1, I run 1, 2, 3, -3, because I go to the left. So that has a slope of -1/3. Over here, I rise 1, 2, 3, and I only run to the left 1, -1. 3 divided by -1 is -3. So J is my answer. Communication. In 1996, there were 171 area codes in the United States. In 2007, there were 215 area codes. Find the rate of change from 96 to 2007. Rate of change, another word or another way of saying rate of change, is the exact same thing as slope. So I'm given 2 points. So I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I've got 215 minus 171 over 2007 minus 1996. All right, so 215 minus 171 is 44, and 2007 minus 1996 is 11. And finally, 44 divided by 11 is just 4. So let's go back to the question. Find the rate of change. Good. So my M is equal to 4. All right, make a table and graph the equation. I told you definitely remember to check your answers and your table and everything else, because that y equals, anything with the y equals, you can go into the calculator, right? So make sure you're doing that. Let's actually just real quick. Okay, so make a table and graph the equation. I'm going to use my 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then I plug in up here. Y equals -7 plus 1/2 times 0 equals -7 plus half of 0 is 0. So -7 plus 0 is -7. So -7. Now here's where it gets a little sneaky. If I put a 1 like that, right, it gets really confusing because now I've got to take -7. 1/2 times 1 is 1/2, and then -7. So what I would do if I were you, I'm taking a half. So the easiest numbers to come up with are 2, 4, 6, even numbers. Now, once again, you could also use negatives. You could have used -2. So let's do 2. Y equals -7 plus 1/2 times 2. Okay. Half of 2 is 1. -7 plus 1 is -6. Y equals -7 plus half of 4. Half of 4 is 2. -7 plus 2 is -5. And honestly, at this point, you can see a pattern. -7, so this one should be -4. All right, my first one is 0, -7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last one is 6, negative 4. All right, write your equation in standard form. Remember, standard form is ax plus by equals c. Okay, so I've got my x on the left. I want to go ahead and move my y. So I'm going to subtract y. So I have a negative 2x minus y minus 3 equals a positive 1. Okay, I can't have any constants on the left, so I'm going to add 3 on both sides, leaving me with negative 2x minus y. 1 plus 3 is 4. Another way you could have written this is, or let's just keep it there. That's good. I don't want to confuse y'all. All right, find the value of r. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. They tell us that m is negative 1/2, so negative 1 over 2. I'm just plugging it in for this m right here, okay? Then this is my first x, my first y, my second x, my second y. So y2 is 4 minus y1 is 8 over r minus a negative 2. Okay, first of all, we know that's a plus. And then so now we have negative 1 over 2 equals 4 minus 8 is negative 4, and then r plus 2. Now, you should remember when you have complex fractions and you need to solve, you cross multiply. So this is negative 1 times r plus 2 equals 2 times negative 4. Okay, distribute. Negative 1 times r is negative r. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. And then 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. I add 2. And I divide by negative 1. R equals a positive 6. All right, which line has, okay, so what I'm going to do real quick is, let's do a highlighter. Okay, so the, maybe I do need it to be fatter. Okay, so this yellow one is T, green is L, and purple is P. All right, so it tells me which line has a y-intercept of negative 2. I'm going to go to this graph. Here's the y-axis right here. So a y-intercept of negative 2 is right there. That's the purple line, which was P. The next question asks, which line has a slope of negative 2? Remember, if you're going from a graph, it's rise over run. You can also remember this is a negative slope, so if you look at slope guy, I'm looking for a downwards, because that's the negative. I'm looking for a downwards line. And immediately you should be able to see that it's T. But let's just check ourselves. Here's a point on that line. So if we're going to do rise over run, we rise 2 and we run a negative 1. 2 divided by negative 1 is negative 2. So it is in fact the yellow line, which is T. All right, find the rate of change. Remember, rate of change is the same thing as slope. Okay, here's my x. So I'm going to find my pattern. This is plus 1, plus 1. Over here, plus 5.5. Over here, plus 5.5. All right, so it's rise over run. There's a lot of different y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, or you could do m equals rise over run. But ultimately, you rise on the y. So it's m equals y over x when it comes to a table. So this is a positive 5.5, and that's over a positive 1. So 5 divided by 5, or 5.5 divided by 1 is 5.5. So it's increasing by, is that money? $5.50.